I just want Jacqueline to get us live here.
Sorry, did I jump the gun? Apologies. We'll move to the approval of the staff approvals. Comments on staff approvals.
So, if you'd like, we can go ahead and vote on them and we'll run through to see if there's any abstentions.
Perfect. Any comments on the staff approvals?
No, sir.
So
Nope.
No. We get a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Approval of the minutes from last meeting. No comment.
I had finding the, I see the Italian Village Commission, January 11th. It's not seeing the Victorian Village.
So we're just going to swap out
Did we get you?
your table real quick here.
January 5th.
Not updated.
Yeah, because look at, here's the time is January 11th.
You got it?
We just thought you were the superstar here, Jeff, so we wanted to
beautiful.
make you
Yeah.
commissioner of both commissions.
Thank you.
We're transferring
Yeah, I
over
was
to
gonna say,
Italian.
they're gonna let us know that we're the Italian Village Commission now too.
An excellent.
And that has nothing to do with memory.
And that
Thanks,
comes-
Kimberly.
You're welcome. Contract approval of the December 8th minutes.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll move into our first application.
Before we hop into that, if we could run through the staff approved, just for any abstentions real quick.
Should,
This should be fairly quick, as I said. A lot of them are 978 to 980 Harrison Avenue. We also have 132, 134 Price Avenue, 978 Harrison again, 972 Highland Street, 34 West Poplar, or 606 Park Avenue, 41 West Second Avenue, 337 to 339 West Hubbard, 948 to 950 Highland Street, and that is all we have for the staff approvals.
any comments or objections?
Nope.
Great. Let's move on to application number 1137 Highland Street.
So this application is to remove 2 hydrangea shrubs and plant 4 small ornamental fruit trees in the front yard. The trees will be pruned to maintain approximately a 5 foot height. Staff has included the previous comments, both for the November 10th denial of the escrow trees, as well as comments from the October 13th hearing. The proposed trees follow the commissioner's comments from the previous hearings. HPO staff does not recommend plantings of the tree lawn. All modifications to the tree lawn also are approval from the Department of Public Services right away. Staff recommends approval of the application with any modifications or clarifications before the commission. Basis for staff recommendation is City Code 3116.11, the standards for alteration, specifically 1, 2, and 5, and City Code 3116.13, the standards for site improvements, specifically A and B.
Excellent. We have the applicant.
Yes,
Can you state your name for the record?
yes, it's Sarah Hafer.
And do you swear and affirm the testimony you'll give will be the truth?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. Do you have anything to add to the staff report?
No,
We're gonna discuss. Excellent. So I think we saw this a couple months ago.
Yes.
And this is a modification to the original approval.
Yes.
Defer here to some of the other gentlemen on the commission.
It's just to clarify what I'm seeing, we're removing the previously proposed posts, spalier installation.
Yeah, so the
Planting
trees are.
hydrangea, or switching the pairs for the hydrangea, is that what you're doing?
Essentially, yeah.
So the three are just coming down, so it'll be two across the front.
Yeah, like they're not across the front anymore, like they're not sort of forming that hedge formation anymore.
Yeah.
I just have just a good question. So do they have to have a post in order to train them?
No, the posts are gone and there'll be just more like kind of
Just
little.
organic And then I just have another question is, what is that max? I know that there was a mentioning of the approximate 5-foot height that they would be pruned. What is that max growth? I think I just was just kind of curious if.
I mean, I think the max growth on the dwarf trees might be like 10 or 15 feet, but certainly that's not.
But that would.
What I would-
Of course. That was. And then the one item, which is in the right of way, that the one location.
Yeah, I think that's not the tree lawn. That drawing is a little confusing. Those front beds are like kind of the front beds where the trees have been. So that's still like the bottom of that drawing is the sidewalk. So there's one kind of along the front bordering the sidewalk and then three.
Yeah, so I understand. So where she's waving the hand, that is where the sidewalk right away
Right,
is.
exactly.
So there's several tiers, gotcha. Okay.
I think that location is still maybe a challenge just in terms of being adjacent to the public way in terms of the fruit. So mindful of that.
Yeah, that one can be pulled back if that's.
I would make sure that one is, I appreciate the balance you're trying to create there, but I think we just need to be careful about how close that's getting to the sidewalk.
Any other comments?
Nope,
That's it for me.
we're good.
Yeah. No further comments either. We will make a motion here.
So are we amending the application based upon the one location?
For the
I couldn't
possible
tell
fourth location.
the fourth location or? And that was only, I mean, just what I heard, I just wanted to be sure.
Ish, yeah. To make sure that it is, I think that general location is okay. It's just the proximity to the sidewalk. Probably, I guess, that being said, as shown planned, and those need to be closer to the house.
Would you like to make that motion?
I will, motion to approve, 01 BB-21-01 013 1137 Highland Street. Approved as submitted with the exception of moving the fourth possible location of the fruit tree closer to the house to avoid conflict with our sidewalk.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Appreciate your time tonight.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Terms of that amendment or something.
Happy New Year, Mr. Seelow.
Happy New Year.
No, I'll probably make a note.
I say the whole 100%.
Take care. Take care. Make sure that everyone, knows that Mr. C knows.
Yes, sorry.
It's okay. No, I just want to make sure.
Commissioner Tom Seawo has joined us here after we introduced ourselves, so apologies for not
Just
checking you in there.
But my apology, King Avenue was closed, so I had to circle around.
We'll move on to application number 2, BB 2112-014, 254 Poplar Avenue.
so this application is to remove existing boxwood plantings between porch steps and existing turf in the front lawn and construct a sawn Indiana limestone curb approximately 4 inches above sidewalk grade to frame out the front landscape bed. This would also include the installation of limestone flagging at the southwest corner, the adjacent alley and West Poplar, intended to increase the visibility of tree lawn and withstand the occasional vehicle running over the curved tree lawn. Update planting scheme in the front landscape bed to include hardy perennials and shrubs within a primary matrix of Ohio native grass as substitute alternative to lawn. Staff has included the unapproved comments from the minutes of the last meeting. Commissioners had previously noted that caps on top of the retaining wall had previously been discussed at other hearings and proposed possibly taking the retaining wall down a row and replacing it with a cap might be more appropriate. HBO staff had let the applicant know that they had not found the proposed stamp of brick appropriate, as this area of landscaping is flat and there's nothing to retain, as would be typical with the short walls found elsewhere within Victorian Village. Staff does recommend approval of the application with any modifications or clarifications made by the commission. Basis for this recommendation is City Code 1316.13, the standards for site improvement, specifically A, and 3116.11, the standards for alteration, specifically 1, 2, and 5, as well as the Victorian Village guidelines on fences and yards, stating what is appropriate and what is not appropriate.
Excellent. We have the applicants here. If you could state your name for the record.
Sergio Castaneda.
Brendan.
And do you swear and affirm that testimony you'll give will be the truth? Appreciate you guys coming back. Do you have anything to add to Kimberly's staff report here before we discuss?
That was a great summary.
Excellent.
Question on the plan, the graphic with the curb as it wraps and returns back towards the porch. Looks like it looks like there's a notch. Can you clarify if that's a notch or if that's just the graphic of the stair that's?
That would be, yeah, that would be a notch, so it would remain flush with the rest of the curb, but would be sawn or split so that it continues that continuous line to the edge of the deck, where it would conflict with the existing porch, that would be notched out.
Thank you.
The photograph, I think, a beautiful photograph. I think you'll be able to, potentially with a plus minus, 3-4 inches of, 3 inches of exposure. It might be a slide past the stair. I think that we were, if that high condition is still present, I think that was our concern too, is how does that translate back into the wood stair expense? And
Yes.
Just instead of dead ending it, leave it.
yeah,
Yep.
so I think that they've been pretty responsive to that. See if that'll work.
Yep, I agree. That's also.
Yeah, yep, that makes sense. Yeah, for sure. I think there was just one clarification and that's just only, there's no naming of the plant types that are on the side. I'm going to say that would be the east side of the plan. But, I would presume that they're going to follow the same legend.
Yep.
And because the plant types vary and you've done that. I just want to make sure that we clarify to say that that's the intent.
Yep, that's the intent. It would follow the same scheme of the rest of the.
That was.
Where the limestone flagging is, are people actually cutting the curb all the way back almost to hitting your stairs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very bad.
It's, yeah, it's significant.
At this point, it's dirt.
Gotcha. I have no other questions. I don't know if anybody else has any other comments? Or if would like to make a motion?
Make a motion for VV 2112-014 for 254, 256 West Poplar Avenue as submitted with the clarification that the plant types on the east bed against the porch would be in kind of the plant presented in the other beds.
Second.
All those in favor?
I,
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
thanks you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Good job.
Awesome.
Move on to application number 3, BB 21-11-016. This is 749 North High Street in Sunler, Brooklyn.
So this application is to install vinyl graphics on the window. The left window, the vinyl application will measure 21 inches high by 40 inches wide, which is approximately 5.9 square feet. And the right window vinyl application will measure 24.8 high by 36 inches wide, which is approximately 6 square feet. And to install the vinyl on the entry door, measuring approximately 16 inches in diameter, remove the existing signs on the windows and the vinyl to the door, and cover the electrical conduit with the diamond painted white to match the existing facade. The comments from the November 2021 hearing have been included. The commissioners at the business meeting wanted to confirm if the entry door or just the circular logo was going to be opaque. And it does the right side window vinyl constitute as advertising and is appropriate in its proposed location. Commissioners have previously approved the signage from electrical conduit to the interior is covering this appropriate solution. Staff recommends the approval of the application with the condition that the electrical conduit is moved to the interior for the approval. Basis for recommendation are the short-term design guidelines, specifically the general guidelines. And just to highlight a couple real quick, the pedestrian-oriented signage is preferred. And the signage message should be designed in a simple fashion and may include the business name, logo, function, and or street address, or street number or address, and related artistic treatments. Telephone numbers, web address, and web addresses are appropriate, and logos identifying the primary business may be integrated as an accent within signs. However, logos advertising individual products apart from the primary business are not supported, as well as the short north design guidelines for the projecting blade sign.
Excellent. We have the applicant here, representative of the applicant.
My name is Pete Hatcher.
Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth?
I do.
Excellent. Do you have anything to add to staff report?
No, just here to answer any questions you might have regarding the changes, the conduit.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and pick it off. So we've got the vinyl plus the conduit with the sign. I still have a concern with the warm cookies delivered open late as possible advertising. I know we nixed an application a little while ago that used a company's tagline on High Street. My read is just that it doesn't fit the guidelines, that it actually is advertising.
I agree with that. I think we discussed it in the business meeting as far as it being more appropriate if it said insomnia cookies on it, but not warm cookies delivered late.
Right.
And that could be something that could just be hung internally on the window, not
It-
something that has to be affixed and become actually a part of the structure.
And the other thing, Jeff, on the interior, there's an image on. You can see the tagline on the interior. It's a couple slides back.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with the door. I think that.
Right there. So like on the
Down the
interior.
focus wall, you can see one cookie.
Right.
I would agree.
I think we're opening ourselves to.
I agree.
Those are the only comments I have.
I would just I would echo those same comments. Just as far as the clarity on the conduit, so it looks like the conduit is being proposed to be removed. That power source is going to be in the interior or ran internally. The junction box is going to stay, I'm presuming. Is that the reason that that is photoshopped in that manner?
Correct.
Okay. And then can the junction box be painted out as part of this effort? Just, can the junction box be painted to match the existing trim?
Sure.
I think that would be helpful, so it just kind of goes away. And that was the only comments outside of the comments that you guys made.
Nothing additional from me.
Nope, I'm okay.
Do we want to make a motion then?
Before you make a motion, I do want to discuss, if we're going to split that and approve one part and the part, I'm a little concerned with the one cookies part. Do we want to discuss if that is not approved, just in theory, what might be an appropriate vinyl replacement for it?
I think they could hang something visual on the inside addressing the outside,
Okay.
so it doesn't become an issue here.
I just wanted to state that I felt the warm cookies open late would be considered a function. And, not a logo. I know it says, logos advertising are not supported, but it does say that functions are allowed. And I would consider that a function of the business. I mean, and it is their primary what they sell as well.
So what would Hyde Park put on their windows? I mean, once we start that, we have a whole sundry of people describing. That's not truly a function, it's describing what's happening. Not a true function, it'd be cookies. If you want to have a night blind and you want to pull it down, it says warm cookies delivered late, and it goes up and down. But I mean, to put something, to affix it to the window, to have a statement like that, and to think if we had that all up and down High Street, it would be chaos.
Okay, that's all.
Yep.
I appreciate your creativity, but I
Yeah.
agree with Commissioner Hitson is that the block would eventually say hot tacos and just go down the street of what they're doing.
And I mean, there are creative ways to do that from an interior without affixing anything.
Hmm. And I do think that, I mean, it's a tagline of the company. I strongly feel that it is advertising.
And then we have to also say I guess, those squigglies on the one window, those go too. Yes. I guess those are making a warm gesture. I mean, now that you could say it's a pattern. I'm not crazy. If you wanted to do that across the bottom as a kind of like warm, I think that would be fine.
All the way across there.
Yep,
Across the store.
yep. Almost becomes a border.
And I would agree, especially that if it's going to happen, it should happen consistently.
Yep.
Right, just one little bit.
And actually, I think that's an improvement. Sean thought about it too. Sean thought about it. What the heck? I might as well just go home.
You can't go home.
Need that taser.
Does that make sense then?
Yes, it does.
Perfect. Thank you.
Would you want to?
So let's make a motion. Sure. Let's make a motion for 21-11-016, 749 North High Street. And we're editing the application to remove the verbiage on the front window panel. But we're going to additionally put the warm graphic pattern on the bottom of both panels.
And before you go any further, I just want to make sure with our applicant that modification is okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and the third one, I'm sorry, the curved one too, it's the one that's not flush. So it goes all the way around.
The way, correct.
Yep.
Second.
Any further
I think you
discussion?
mentioned.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot Sean's thing, you gotta paint the junction box also.
Correct, message around.
Yes.
Second.
Excellent. All those in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Really appreciate you coming back.
Thank you.
Best of luck. We'll move on to application 4, VE 2101-114. This is 1234 Highland Street.
This application is to remove the existing slate, which has been patched with shingle and metal over time. At some point, the box gutters were either jumped or removed. And to install new Owens Supreme Estate gray shingles, down from the approved shingles. Insulation to include the new red metal ridge roll on the hips and valleys with upper. Commissioners at the business meeting wanted to confirm if the gutters and downspouts were being replaced as well, and if so, what colors would those be? I did get an email today that the downspouts and the gutters are not part of this application. Commissioners also asked if the existing asphalt shingles would be retained or removed, and that same email addressed that those shingles were being replaced as well with this application. HBO staff agrees that these slate shingles are past their service life. These shingles do not appear to have been maintained over the past few years, and the box gutters have either been covered or removed. Staff recommends approval of the application with any modifications or clarifications to the application. And this is per City Code 3116.11, the standards for alteration, specifically 2, 4, 5, and 6.
Applicants are here. If you could state your name for the record.
Josh Metzinger?
Jason Sherman.
Please swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Do you have anything to add to staff report before we discuss?
Pretty straightforward. The slate roof is past its life. And we're going to do a complete replacement so the shingles have a uniform appearance. Follow guidelines for the commission for ventilation. So we'll use cobra vent underneath the ridge roll. Then we'll do big vent. Base of the roof.
And
So do these
this
shingles
is
match?
This is a replacement of both the slate and the lower roof as well that we're seeing, kind of like the porch and.
Yeah, I guess what I was gonna ask,
Yeah, all the shingles, they have a mix and match right now. It's partially slate. They use the shingles to cover over the box gutter, and then there's a lower shingle roof. So all of the slate, all of the shingles are all getting removed. A uniform
So it'll be one.
approved
it'll be
shingle
one
from the
roof.
list will be
so
on there. and then match
here's
the
what
rest.
here's what I wanna find out. This lower roof, what shingle is that? Because that's the shingle that should be on the whole thing, not just a typical 3-tab replacement with. So do you know what that
It
shingle
looks
is
to me
below?
like on that lower roof, it's a rubber, and then they replace it with 3-tab asphalt over the box gutter.
Right.
You know what this piece right here is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The porch piece that's in
The porch piece.
rolling down, possibly. Keep
That-
scrolling, keep scrolling, keep
Porch,
scrolling.
oh, okay, are you talking
Keep
about?
scrolling.
Sorry.
Keep going. It's the over top view of the whole roof.
I happen to know what number that is.
It's the last page.
17 of 18.
17 and 18.
Okay.
Drones crap.
Okay, see that back roof
Oh, okay,
of that
so-
porch?
Yeah, that appears to be a GAF slate line.
And that's what you're replacing the whole roof with?
The owner requests that we go back with Owens Corning Supreme 3-tab and a state frag. essentially, one, for cost, but two, the GAF slate line shingles aren't currently available. The manufacturer is waiting for an order of, I believe, 5,000 or more square for,
See, this is the thing that's really upsetting to me because this is a beautiful roof and it hasn't been taken care of.
correct.
And now all of a sudden it's a problem and we're in a pandemic. And because we can't get the correct thing, it should probably be replaced with what you see on that bottom roof, not just a 3-tab. And I don't know what the is there another supplier that makes a,
It's not on the approved list, unfortunately. The only one that's available right now is an Atlas Stormmaster, which also mimics slate, but it's not on the approved list.
The Certainty Carriage House shingles are also.
There's a similar shingle that has, I don't remember if it's this month or if it was last, I think it was last month.
It was the shelter house.
Yes, I was
It
going
was
to say
shelter
that
house.
came up.
Yeah.
But the other commissions are experiencing the same thing.
Yeah.
Since HRC has the wider variety of architectural selection, they approved.
so has your office, have you guys gone out and sourced anything else that is not on the list that, but that can mimic it and look like something? Because we could have a whole watershed of crappy roofs getting done in the name of the pandemic,
But at the moment,
where in fact, they're helping people's pocketbooks, not really pandemic issues. That's my worry.
as,
As a contractor that does historic restoration, we don't disagree. I mean, we prefer to do natural slate roofs or even the EcoStar synthetic slate that we've been doing in German Village. But yeah, no, I mean, I'd rather do a GF slate line, or quite frankly, I prefer to do a Carriage House shingle because they have a clipped corner look. But I mean, we do know that the Atlas Stormmaster shingles are available because we have replaced those on historic homes outside of the historic districts. But currently, we just haven't been able to we haven't gotten lucky, I guess is the best way to put that with the distributors.
And the owner of the house currently purchased the home and is trying to remodel it and bring it back to some of its normal beauty. So the maintenance was not deferred by the current owner, it was deferred by the previous owner. The new owner just recently purchased it and has contracted us to do the roof, and then obviously he wants to, fix all, because it's been leaking for years too, to go back in there and patch and paint and get everything back up to normal. So we're just trying to help him get to that point.
Yeah, and I understand that. And again, that's really not our worry. He bought the house under the premise that he knew what he was getting.
Mhm.
And sometimes those things really don't give you much bang for your buck,
Sure.
but they're important architecturally.
Agreed.
Since maybe some of these alternates that products are not available for us to review at this time, would it make sense that we would be able to move the application forward and there's a subcommittee to review, the aesthetic of some of these options that are being proposed, given availability and what that looks like? Like, I hear names.
But I can't
know
visually
that
see. I don't know what I'm talking about.
You know what I mean? So is that,
And it could be a quick process. It's not like it's
Yeah.
a 6-week thing. Like,
thank you to that process.
now, Kimberly, I told you it was the holidays and I told you I'd be out of town.
Just joking, because I know sometimes the subcommittees, it's kind of like herding cows. But the office does not have a list of backup shingles, so I think the subcommittee to review something as a potential option.
I would love to do that and we could put those in place in a temporary situation if this pandemic and supply chain issues are going to continue.
We might just have to do it for the commission because to update the approved list, we have to get all of the commission.
That's fine. I'm fine with that.
Would you guys be open to submitting?
Yeah. So
There's several options. And then within the slate line that you guys already have approved, there's another color called the weathered slate, which is not on your list.
that we actually
And
have.
we actually have
access to.
access to that because we had them on hold for another project.
Yeah, if you show us those, we'd be happy to.
Okay. But for,
Because that's
for all intents-
dimensionally the same size, it's just a
It's that
slightly
identical
different.
shingles,
font.
it's
Same
slightly
shingle,
different
same
color. That shingle comes in 5 colors.
Right.
That would be
You guys
great.
only have 2 on your.
That would be great.
But alternatively, because the amount that we have is limited, so we complete this roof and have enough to do maybe a small roof. But I mean, I would be more than open to basically submitting everything that's currently available because
That'd be
quite
great.
frankly, you know, it keeps us from having to come back and do this in the future. Like either
Yeah.
Big Village or just you all haven't had any EcoStar synthetic slate come across. Yeah, I haven't
I
seen
know.
it.
Doesn't.
We've done several in German Village, which, I mean, like from a, even like this far away, you can't tell the difference. It's
Yeah,
like
I would
pretty
love for you guys to show us those because we would
Okay.
do that for this commission. You would not be only helping yourself out, be helping others.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
It's just hard to know because we deal with every different commission and some of them approve stuff and others, some of them have not also. So maybe we can bring some of the products that we're currently using that are the
Absolutely.
new up-to-date stuff that we can get that looks great,
That
functions
would be-
well.
That would be
Each, what you guys are looking for that has been approved with other people, we can bring it to you guys.
You know, there's a property on the corner, I think if I remember correctly, I think it's Neal and Fifth or Neal and King. It's a law office
Yeah,
that has a nice, tour, and I think that, if I remember correctly, that one was a replacement, a slate replacement. It was a synthetic product, the product didn't hold up.
yeah. No, so we've encountered that. I believe that's the Belforte. So it's like, it's a hollow back.
Yeah.
And yeah, they have a lot of issues with that. Actually, it'll curl and
Yeah.
it'll crack. Yeah, this is a different brand.
And that
So,
one was replaced with another synthetic. And the only reason I say that is because that is one that recently, that's the most recent one I
Yeah.
can remember in terms of synthetic. So it'd be interesting to kind of understand what that product was.
Yeah.
You guys' knowledge.
yeah, we can submit that as well too. I worked with Jay Panzer originally to get 636 Mohawk approved with the EcoStar a few years ago. And then Jay actually used the EcoStar at his house that he has listed in German Village. But we've done it a couple times in German Village. I know precision slates use that material as well.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, we can submit all of them and give you our feedback.
Thank
That'd
you
be
so
great.
much. Be helpful.
We just bought a house in UA with the Atlas shingles, so I can send you pictures of what they look
Super.
like.
That'd be great.
But they have that similar Carriage House clipped corner
Good,
look, and they're actually available in at least a limited amount of colors right now.
good.
Okay.
Super.
Awesome.
So would you like us to drop those off?
Just
About
here we go.
next month or?
So would you guys be open to looking at physical samples? Is that gonna be okay?
I would be fine with just visual.
Yeah, whatever's the easiest. I don't think we
You
want
don't
to
need to
hurt
do
the
the
project.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can send addresses of like in the area as well too.
I
Where we've
think
done
both
work.
would be helpful.
Yeah, both of those.
And some drone photos.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Super.
Yeah, some example projects.
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll send them to.
Yes.
Thank you.
I typically give them a week after they have the materials. So and you guys on that deadline.
We understand.
Yeah,
In the same boat.
she runs a
It should.
tight operation.
So, do we want to then
Continue
make
or
a
just make
a
up.
subcommittee or do a continuance? Do we think they actually need to come back?
So it might be better if you guys discuss it, because I would think the subcommittee might be okay. It might work best, because we don't always have a forum for business meetings. And
So procedurally, we're okay with them replacing the roof if in fact it's a shingle that we can use, not just for specifically for this location, but in a replacement situation for what we have. And maybe they might have a couple that they could recommend and we could go from there. So do we want to make a motion with that sort of language?
Make it contingent that, it's a test case
Yep.
as well.
It will submit them and I guess you, realistically, ask us questions and.
yeah, and maybe it'll help if the applicant ranks them as well, like what they're.
That would
Okay, so make a motion for application 21-01-014134 Highland Street. This is sort of a unique application in that it's a total slate roof replacement due to the pandemic and supply shortages. We're going to put a special group together and the applicant's going to propose several options which the commission will approve and carry on. And then the only other thing additionally is, these will be test case scenarios. This is not permanent as far as moving forward. And also that obviously, Tinner Red, Rich Rolls, that kind of stuff will follow suit.
Second,
Seconded. Any further discussion?
it was a subcommittee, do we just need to define the subcommittee?
Yes.
Uh,
So,
Jeff and Sean?
Yep.
All right, any further discussion? All those in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Appreciate you guys.
Thanks so much for your
Really
time.
appreciate you being with us.
thank you, guys.
Educating us here a little bit tonight.
and just to make sure, because I'm going to get paranoid if I don't have, it was only Commissioners Hisson and Conyers.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll move on to application number 5, 2201-115. This is 647 North High Street.
Right, this application is to construct a temporary enclosure of the patio and visit the mural installation for approval and extension of the original. I've included the previous minutes comments, and the commissioners at the business meeting wanted to confirm that the fence is still part of the application. The applicant confirmed that the temporary enclosure and mural are legally part of the application. Staff recommends approval of the application with the condition that the mural be removed as it is not supported by the short work design companies. Basis for staff recommendation is City Code 3116-111. These standards for alteration, specifically 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, and the Victorian Village guidelines for new construction, both appropriate and not appropriate, as well as the short work design guidelines on murals, which specifically state that murals are not appropriate on the building's elevations that front on High Street. The appropriate location for the placement of murals is on the side and rear elevations of the building. And the short mark design guidelines for commercial patios and outdoor dining.
Excellent. We have the applicant here. Please say your name for the record.
What's that?
And do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth?
Yes.
Excellent. Do you have anything to add to Kimberly's report? Excellent. I guess I'll kick it off. The idea of these temporary enclosures, I think, is something that, as a commission, we're going to have to grapple with here for a little while. I like the fact that it is on the, let's say, inside of the sidewalk, based on the patio and the architecture of the building itself. I'm scared of some of these other cities where we have them just popping up right in the pedestrian right of way. So I don't know how you gentlemen feel about approving this moving forward, but I think it's literally the perfect location to have one. If we looked at some of the other restaurants even right next to it, it creates a problem. So I don't want to set a precedent by saying this is a great solution, but I think it's a great solution for the neighborhood and the business. The bamboo fence, I think you removed that from the application on the annex. So in terms of the enclosure,
I don't either, but my only worry is what is the time frame of taking that down?
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have an effort to put it up. But I don't want to see that June, July, August sitting there,
No, I would.
So can we put a up and down date?
Yeah, at the business meeting, we talked about putting a date, like at the end of March, it has to be down. And, these are
Yeah.
a temporary.
I guess we say, I give them through April because we can have inclement weather in April.
We still have some-
And then, May, we're getting into the warmer climate. So I think it through April is
Question, did the health department find this appropriate?
How is it secured to the,
There's like a base platform, and it
Good.
will be
Yeah.
installed, yeah.
What do you mean it will be installed? So there's a base platform and is it screwed down to the concrete or how is it?
Yes.
Appropriate?
it's brick? And, I mean, I guess if they damage the plaza,
Yeah, and we
they'll have to replace them.
the agreement
Bricks.
with the Victorian gate condos that any.
Yeah.
I would think if you went in with masonry anchors into the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's typically what we do is go into the mortar, like the in between, so that it's very easy to.
Yep.
Expansion of those.
yeah, I'm okay on anything else.
Nothing on the enclosure, no.
We decide on a date certain here.
End of April.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that work with you?
Yeah, I find end of April very fair.
And then if we're still in this situation next year, come back and
Revisit it.
revisit it.
So
I would be okay with all that.
So, can we chat about the mural? It just seems like that's the one hot topic from staffs with the board.
Right.
And so, just kind of thinking back, I know the mural was a questionable item. I know we've had some staff changeover, but I do kind of remember, I think this was at the heart of, the pandemic and kind of dealing with takeout needs and not having in dining or inside dining. So I think that there was a little bit of anxiety related to it, but understanding the pandemic, there was a need to obviously keep you in business. So it seems as though we would be able to, I guess the dialogue today, it seems like we need to make an understanding or at least identify why, if we are going to approve this for another duration of time, to try to make sure that we address some of staff's concerns.
Speaking to my point, the mural does offer a benefit to the business in the sense that it brings attention to the window, which is a new installation that we put in due to the pandemic. But we were careful with the art that we submitted to ensure that it wasn't felt as an advertisement or a branded logo dynamic for the business, that it was in fact an artistic installation. So, we got everyone approved this artwork. So my thought is that it just is a nice, colorful, artistic installation in the neighborhood, which fits other colorful, artistic installations.
Kimberly, would the artwork be an extension of the existing COA or part of this COA?
So it's an extension from the previous one.
So they could be treated as
They could be
two.
treated as two separate ones and any of the applications, split them out as needed.
Sure. And I recall this, being fairly contentious as well. Where I landed with it was that we would have it as a vinyl graphic and that it doesn't quite meet the short note guidelines because it's not the wall facing the street and it's slightly set back. So I felt more okay with my previous comments and vote.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we thought, like just these temporary art installations. It was a vinyl,
Yeah,
pulled off, it
pulled
didn't do
off.
any damage to the building. We put a time frame on it, see how it went.
Right, which I believe the previous.
Because the
COA
walk-up
had-
table, everything else, the walk-up table and stuff like that was something that would be put out. And it's not a permanent, so nothing is
Solution.
physically attached, so I guess I was okay with that.
Right, if we wanted to
Have
revisit the temporary or test case idea for it, you know, the timeline extension. I, I would be okay with that.
So we just treat them as to A and a B, so that way, because everyone probably had varied timelines associated with them.
Correct, yeah.
And then.
So we had initially, I believe, approved 12 months on the vinyl as a temporary test case that you would come back. Are you still okay with that?
Yeah.
So,
And I'll mention too that I know that they have a shelf life, so to speak, in terms of
right.
how well it's still adhered to the building. And so if there's any need to update it because it's fallen off or something.
Okay.
Okay,
So if we could split it into two motions today, and we'll do a 12-month on the vinyl and then
Okay.
the 4-month on the temporary enclosure.
Make a motion for, application BB 22 01 015 or 647 North High Street, as submitted with the following, clarifications. Oh, I'm sorry, item A. Can I do it?
Yep, go ahead.
A motion just for item A, or should I do A and B and then we make, okay.
okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Freestyle, you can freestyle.
Freestyle. Okay. So, with the following clarifications that the bamboo that was shown is not part of the application. Item A, is for a temporary, structure, to be, set up for approximately, or I should say that the deadline is until April, 1st, of this year. More seasonal through April.
End of April.
End of April? Okay, so the end of April of this year for the temporary structure. Item B is for the extension of the existing vinyl graphics for another calendar year. 12 months. That was only clarification.
Perfect. Any further comments? Do we have a second?
I will second.
Excellent. All those in favor?
Aye,
Any opposed? Sir, really appreciate you. Best of luck.
thank you, good luck.
Thank you.
I promise you next.
All right, application 6, BB 22-01-016, 1042 North Highland Street.
This application is to add a shed dormer to the existing single-story in addition and install a French door. The shed dormer would allow the installation of a 6-foot by 6'8" flat door. The new exterior siding would match the existing and have a rubber roof. The windows on the frame addition would be replaced with jagged sightline. Commissioners at the business meeting requested the cut product sheets for the siding. And staff did a little bit of digging as well, and according to the COA 89-1-3, the rear addition siding was aluminum to match the dormer siding, and this was from a 1990 COA. The frame addition is historic in itself. The standard board maps show the addition constructed between 1901 and 1802. HPO staff did find a 1963 photograph of the structure, which includes the addition, and which needs to determine if that addition is historic in its own right. The 1990 photo shows a different window configuration, so the addition has been modified. Staff recommends the approval of the application with the condition that the siding is either hardy or boral and that the cut product sheet is provided prior to issuance of the certificate. A basis for recommendation is the City Code 3116.11, the standards for alteration.
We have the applicants here. If you guys could state your name for the record, please.
Steve Herb, Urban Order Architecture.
Patrick Jones. Excellent. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth?
Yes.
Excellent. Do you have anything to add to Kimberly's staff report before we discuss?
Not really. The primary reason for altering this addition is that the back wall is I don't know exactly how tall it is, but it's like 5 feet. So we can't get a door. So we don't have a way to get access to the backyard. So we just, what is the most simple way to help up a portion of this to get access? So, and then as far as the exterior siding, the only part that we're modifying is where we're putting that door in. So really hoping to not have to replace all of the siding for this small modification. And the siding's been on there for however long. So you said that that photograph is from 90?
Yes.
So when did you find this? Was that approved?
It was.
So I think this photo is from the application for the aluminum siding. So this was what predated it. And I don't have any approvals for the vinyl siding.
The guy who did, Rob McLean who owned the house before I did, think renovated it in 98, 96, 98. And that white siding was already there.
Okay.
So basically, you're just so if I get this straight, you're just popping up the roof where that double doors are. Is that correct?
Yes,
And you want to keep the existing siding.
yes, yeah.
So why don't we just take that middle piece and make it something?
I don't understand the question.
Like a different
Yeah.
material?
And then you can leave everything in place.
So you're kind of suggesting that that door area looks like it's an addition to the.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's differentiated by material. I'm not saying you're gonna, do a whole bunch of stuff. You're just taking the material and trimming it out, and then the rest of it stays.
I think initially,
And Urban Order is creative enough to make that happen.
I thought it would just be easier to keep the same siding that was there, just on the small portion of the dormer. But other than that, it will be, material.
What do you think about that, Mr. Hurd?
It seems to me that when you start mixing up stuff on such a small portion, that it's like, what are we trying to accomplish? We know that this was an addition, even if it's from 1920. It's on the back of this brick house. And then this modification is a modification to that addition. So I think it should be consistent. And not draw attention to itself.
So are you proposing to paint the siding? Are you gonna clean it up? What are you gonna do? Because I don't see how you're ever gonna match that. It's gonna stick out like a sore thumb.
Match, what the term match was for material. If it has to be painted or cleaned up. Certainly do that.
I mean, is that siding profile and, product available that you're gonna have to teeth in, some of that on that front or rear elevation? I mean, the disconnect of the dormer return, that's probably not you probably won't notice if you miss slightly. It's just
Right
really
over that door. And
it's the teething in of it, into the existing on that rear elevation.
Right.
that's kind of why if you just took that as a piece.
But I mean, I understand, Steve, in terms of, your response to Jeff, completely understandable. It's just I guess what we want to talk about is how, what does this look like when it gets implemented? To implement it the best that it can be from a constructability standpoint. That's all.
Yeah, I suppose if we were entertaining that idea, we would take the trim boards of the dormer piece down to a grade.
Yes,
And we would fill in
yes.
between. And seeing the photographs from 1990 where there are those horizontal windows, we haven't, we're not exactly sure exactly what's in that wall, so.
Well, I mean, what's crazy is that detail on that thing could be, you know, board and back, going back to what it originally was, and it would look handsome. I mean, it's not gonna kill your wallet.
So if you are in agreement on that, I'm seeing, can't really tell, is that the studs and insulation? Or is it the board and back?
Not sure.
I can tell you that there is no insulation back there. So one of the issues is to make this space usable. Right now, it has a space heater back there because there is no insulation in the roof or the walls.
The previous photo, black and white one, it kind of looks like there's being insulated. So we may have to move that and taking it down to where the base was, 1990.
Yes, we have histories of this weird asphalt siding. That doesn't look like a finished board and batten siding to me. But I think a board and batten siding could be appropriate if that. Talk to Patrick about that, but we could propose to fill this dormer section in with board and batten. We would have a clean line.
Yep.
Of the existing siding. And then at some point, you know, somebody took the siding off dormers and painted that, so. If that's a long-term goal.
You know, it's just, it's visual and it's not something that's gonna, you know, run into God knows how much money just to make something look nice. And the rest of it could be touched and as you move along. With that being the solid piece of what's going on there.
We could run a trim board here. Here. Fill this in with a board back siding, which is like that. Give you a better. This would then be painted, this would still be the siding of whatever that siding is. Because we have to rebuild this wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good with that.
And then that could be something like a Mural product that's typical for what we would see as well.
Yeah, I would, my first. If we could get Hardy or Mural, cement board or Mural.
That really, I think Hardy or Boral.
Yes.
Yeah, especially when we're looking at sheet good. Doesn't expand the track like the
Yep.
horizontal does.
And your depth against the existing vinyl should be fine as well. And doing the returns as well.
Yep.
They're deep groove. Yeah, I think that's a nice suggestion. Would work.
Sweet. I think, anything else?
Those products could be part of the final submission to staff for staff review, so we don't really need anything else. So I put right together.
So, make a motion. Let's make a motion for 01-016, 1042 North Highland Street. As submitted, the only difference being the addition of the new double door to the backyard. That centerpiece will be addressed in a board and batten or different material to address the condition.
To be staff review.
Same problem.
And products to
Eventually,
be,
we have to-
products to be staff reviewed.
Eventually, I have to get some structure on here and get it stamped, so.
Yep.
look at that.
Beautiful.
Perfect. Do we have a second for that?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
I,
Appreciate you guys.
hey, Kimberly, I have a hard stop at 6,
Okay.
so
Well, we have
I don't know how many more we have.
This is.
There are 12 more.
Just, you guys have no humor in the know you. I'm telling you.
I look at the dinner like.
Yes.
It's been a while where we only have a few. Yeah, Thomas and I were in and out of the business meeting.
25 minutes.
22 minutes. I think when we started.
Well, I was pleasantly surprised by the roofing company.
Yeah,
We are still on record. We're live
Okay,
streaming.
I'm really glad by there because, I mean, this pandemic, I mean, it's everywhere. And it's supply logistics, and I think we'll do ourselves favors by
Absolutely.
it's
getting
most
some
random
replacements in
things,
there.
too,
Yes,
that
yes.
keep popping up. It's like,
Yeah.
one of my contractors couldn't get drywall tape.
Well, and, you know, and then a lot of these people are doing large, they can't get the washer and dryers, the ranges, the microwaves.
Right.
They have people ready to move in and they can't get the products.
Yeah.
All right, since we do have one more application, I'm gonna hop down to new business real quick.
Okay?
And we can take a 5-minute break just to give them some wiggle room in case they are running late.
Sure. Yep.
So new business is Columbia Gas Works for 2022. They are proposing some work on High and Third, which touches both Italian and Victorian Village. And will take place in Q3, which is July to September. And there's also the Miller pipeline to install about 4,000 feet of main line and replace 120 service lines. So this work is similar to what they've been doing. It's just another phase in it.
Yep.
So wanted to keep everybody updated in case there's any questions or just happens to affect your property.
It'd be nice if they didn't kill the trees like they did at the port.
Yeah.
That was sad.
No, I'm sad about the little gas station
Hmm.
by the Kroger's.
Yeah.
All that stuff is getting lost.
Well, I'll bring up a new business item. Do we need to vote for a new chair?
We will. I did not have that on the agenda because you're still here. I think typically we do it, the agenda
After.
after somebody has left.
Sure.
I mean, want to do it tonight? Or, would people like to think about it a little bit? Because we are going down to 4 people. We do not have any nominations at the moment for additional seats, which we are still working on having nominations from a couple places.
Gosh, I thought the association, aren't they? I thought they had some vetted candidates.
Yeah,
You guys
Jeff.
haven't heard of them? or-
Yeah, Jeff Smith said that they were talking to some people when I
Yeah.
told him that I was stepping aside. I don't know where they're at with it.
Huh.
I mean, if you guys want to give them a little nudge, so that back to us so we can get a real thing, because it does take a little while to get the nominations through city council as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
It takes a while to get through us to get through them.
Do you know what the status of the other 2 vacancies?
Still working on it.
Oh,
So we'll have 3 vacancies, but I believe after Kevin leaves, we'll have 2 that are short North Alliance. And then one might be a council nomination, and I'm not sure this is going from memory. My memory has spotty where things are coming from. And just a reminder, if anybody has their term coming up for renewal, this year I haven't checked to see whose is and whose isn't, but we want to get that paperwork in sooner rather than later so we can get things over.
How long are those? I think I'm the mayor's appointee and I think I'm done at 14.
They're 3 years.
Yeah. And when I say I'm
I
done,
believe mine is up in June of this year. Then.
I'll double check. I know I just did this last year, I think. But I have to check. Is it the, a letter of intent and the resume again?
yeah, because
I mean, this is assuming people still. want to
14 is the end of the line.
Totally correct.
I'm going into sunset.
I
mean-
we need that tape.
Riding.
Very
Let's get this straight.
Let's not talk about
Yeah, I don't think you.
Holy Toledo. Is this real wood?
No, I think that might be fake.
You don't joke about
No, no. No, sir. Sir, sometimes you will get
this.
answers. That's not the right.
Did you get that straight? I said I was riding.
Yes, sir, yes.
So the time on the last three agenda items was 5 PM. So actually not, just the last one. So number 7 was estimated that it not convert before 5 PM. We're at 5:20. I don't know if we want to give them a couple more minutes. I don't necessarily want to keep you guys longer than we need to, but I also do want to give our applicants the appropriate time to get here.
This is the Hubbard.
Yes, this is our conceptual one.
And what are they trying to do? This is a cute little property, actually.
Yeah, it's a little
It's like it
modification to the back.
should be on a lake somewhere,
Not the
on
Victorian.
an alley, right?
So they're proposing to modify a little bit. They're going to take off the screening on the porch as well as regrade that corner there and fencing. So they can put in a parking pad as well as paper patio.
Since this one does fall into conceptual, are we required to have the applicant here or?
We could offer
Discuss.
some basic comments.
Yeah,
I prefer to do it with the applicant here because you have that, give and take and back and forth. And, you know, you can flesh out ideas of what might work and what might not. So,
But since it's still in the conceptual,
Yeah.
could actually
Yeah.
go forward with it.
yeah, just with a note that the applicant's not here to fill in any of my holes and instruction, but I can read the staff report off real quick. And we could always give some basic feedback if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah, you guys want to, while we're here looking at it, at least give some quick feedback.
yeah,
And if, you know, the applicant does happen to come in midway.
right, we can repeat ourselves.
Right, so this is application number 7, BB-22-01-017. This is 109 Hubbard Avenue, which is located on the alley. This is to remove the existing 6-foot privacy fence, retaining wall, and the orange tree stumps. Remove the screen panel from the entry porch and repair any compromised wood decking and railing. The wood is to be stained, and to construct a board concrete retaining wall faced with stone veneer along the alley. The west end of the retaining wall is to be removed and the yard excavated to allow off-street parking pads linked to the alley, and construct a paper patio along the west side of the house out of limestone pavers. The commissioners at the business meeting requested cut product sheets for the pavers, proposed wood materials, retaining wall and railings. Commissioners also noted that a railing may be needed for sets of steps, but the applicant would need to confirm, and they did confirm that railing is needed in its 4 steps, and this is only 3. A railing detail was also requested for railings, a retaining wall section, scale and measure requested by the commissioners. And the commissioners requested that the applicant confirm if variances were needed. They noted that the proposed work seemed like a lot of ground cover and wanted to confirm that variance wasn't needed for lot coverage. Commissioners also noted that some of the previous concrete paths had incorporated comparable pavers into their construction, such as the border, and wanted to know if the applicant had explored such an option. HBO staff has included the 1922 and 1951 sand maps, materials, along with a screenshot from the auditor's website showing the lot split. The commission went to discuss if it's appropriate to remove the area to allow for parking spaces next to the dwelling. Usual staff recommendation to provide feedback to be used at a future hearing. Basis for staff recommendation is City Code 3116.11, the standards for alteration. Specifically, there's a number of them listed, but just to highlight number 2, 5, and 10. And for the record, as previously discussed, the applicant is not here at the moment, but the commission is open to providing some initial feedback.
Well, I would say that the, since the business meeting, the updates that the applicant put into the drawings are much appreciated, and thank you for adding these additional details. In terms of the railing, I'm concerned with it being dissimilar materials. I don't think we typically would approve wood and metal on the railing system itself. I'm still concerned with the sloped parking pad not having some sort of dress up, shall we say, whether that's a border or something. I still like the look of the permeable pavers that we've approved here in the past.
What happens to the edge of the lot where that,
Right,
I mean, there's no resolution.
it just ends.
It just ends?
Yeah,
They have to finish it.
Yeah.
They have to finish it somehow.
yeah,
Because it'll erode just like the rest of this stuff.
exactly.
There's still an elevation change in edge along there, right?
Yeah,
Correct, yeah.
a drastic one.
There's going to be an issue. And I, once again, didn't run the lot coverage calculation, but I'm still concerned when we add the new paver patio plus the sloped concrete pad that we're well over our lot coverage. I think in general, the dressing up the porch, I'm perfectly fine with the idea of the project. Just think they haven't gotten to a resolution where it's buildable or
Yeah.
the
Well, I think it would be nice if they did, you know, obviously rework that entry and the sloped parking pad. But then the rest of the stuff is not hard, but it's soft permeable landscape slash. And I think if they did something like that, then
it would be a lot better. I think we approved something like that over the 4th.
well, and plus that's so congested, there really isn't a lot that catches any water over there anyway, so it just
It's going to pour into that alley and just freeze.
Yep.
Yeah, cause a problem. I'm still concerned that they do need a railing at the lower steps that they're proposing. And I don't quite know how they're getting that to
Yeah.
fit into it as well. Those are the,
could be a handsome little project though.
I completely agree. I appreciate the applicant updating. I think those were all my comments before, so they definitely addressed those from the business meeting to this application.
Did you see that? Is that a big rat box? Right by the hose.
Right.
Looks like it.
You know, the opposite side of that concrete by the window.
It's open.
With the rat house, that's not, that's his
Or the
food,
cinder block.
that's his food bowl. He's
He's
a pet.
Stop here to tell us.
Oh, that window is open. Gosh, have we, has anyone driven by, the carriage house that became a pandemic problem with windows and doors and side, yellow siding. They made, we rejected it and said they had to, the light fixtures, the windows, right, it's the carriage house behind Buttles, which is on Lundy, which is this alley.
That hasn't come back.
So we rejected it, and we haven't heard anything about it.
No. Since it's not part of, you know, what would happen, but
Okay,
I don't have any other comments. I mean, that's pretty much it. Helpful.
Comments, anything to add, or?
No, similar to the business.
Yeah, understanding what's happening along the alley there with elevation change and how they change just a safety standpoint through there. And right balance of something hard. Back there.
What? Anything else, Kimberly, you need from us on those comments?
so that is first one.
Perfect. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn?
Excellent. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank